Lack of dissent and discussion available in China. This is Ai Weiwei. He's a tremendously popular and influential Chinese contemporary artist. He majorly disagrees with the human rights aspect of the Chinese government. He shows this much through his work. The Chinese government does not particularly enjoy this, and they've made that very known to him by doing such things as censoring his blog, taking down all things pertaining to him, and banning his work. Police have beaten him brutally on multiple occasions. Last year, I was kidnapped for over 80 days by the Chinese government for writing dissent on his Twitter. No one knew where he was, so many gatherings ensued containing many people holding missing person signs with Ai Weiwei's picture. Soon after being freed, he was arrested again. This sparked even more fury within the Chinese people and many others abroad. Protests were held on many, many occasions demanding his release, which went against the government. This showed that I was not the only one who felt so strongly towards the rights, or rather lack thereof, of the Chinese people. This is Lao Aibo. He was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. Rather, he was never officially awarded it, for the day before the ceremony, he was arrested for enticing subversion of state power. He was referred to as an enemy of Chinese authority. Ironic, considering his Nobel acceptance speech was entitled, "I Have No Enemies." His prison sentence was 11 years. His wife was put on house arrest, simply for being married to him, for the same amount of time he is to be jailed. Uproar was caused all over the world. Protests calling for his immediate release were held, and continued to be held, 4 years into his sentence. Many, many people have been wrongly imprisoned in China because their harmless opinions were thought to be a severe challenge to the government. Tan Zorin was arrested for 11 years for helping to compile a list of those who died in schools during earthquakes. Liao Yiwu was arrested for 4 years for writing the poem Massacre. Bao Tong was arrested for 11 years for his pro-democracy ideas. Tang Baoquo was arrested for 3 years for enticing counter-revolutionary activities. Gao Zhixiang was arrested for 5 years for disturbing public order. Gao Quan was arrested for 10 years for the subversion of state power. Wang Bixiang was imprisoned for life for alleged spying. Wang Yukai was arrested for 11 years for subversion. Zhang Jinyan was put on house arrest for 3 years for being suspected of harming state security. Chang Jinping was arrested for a year for disturbing social order. Yan Hongbing was exiled for his writings. Wei Jincheng was arrested for 15 years before being exiled for being suspected of treason. Countless protests and rallies against China in China have occurred throughout the year, such as the 1989 pro-democracy protest of Tiananmen Square. This relatively peaceful gathering quickly turned into a massacre due to the police and military. The famous picture Tank Man came from this protest. More recently, pro-democracy protests have become more and more occasional. As the protests increase, as do the violence that is shown towards the civilians. People have been run over by steamrollers and set on fire. Even these occurrences are not enough to draw the attention of the Chinese government. Much improvement is needed within the country itself to solve this monumental issue.